Now we are on to the question and answers section of the event. I want to thank you all for participating in this. And Blondie, please proceed with the first question.
Do you want me to go start? Okay, this is for all of you lovely ladies, and we'll start with you guys on this side. Did you ever feel, whenever dealing with a male vendor or a client or a contractor, that whenever you dealt with them, they would have preferred you being a male? Did you ever have that feeling, like, wow, like I can totally tell that they wish that I was a man right now? Go ahead.
Well, there you go. And, you know, I think that at the end of the day, we are the customer, right? They want the business, so you have to sometimes find the vendor that you might need to do with, you might need to partner with. And that's the most important part of that is you have to partner with them. You'll have to get along. They have to respect you. You have to respect them. And at the end of it all, it's a win-win situation for both parties. I mean, yes, it does happen, but you have to win them over and make sure that that kind of behavior goes away, and that the winning, you know, relationship goes forward and takes you both to the next level.
Very well said. Veronica?
Yes, I've encountered that sometimes. I feel, but like she said, you got to be confident and just do your part and not let that bother you. But I felt that way a lot of times.
Yeah?
Yeah.
With hair?
Well, yeah, even with there with the vendors and all that, but it doesn't bother me. Like I said, you just have to be confident and go ahead and not let them know that you feel that way. Just be confident.
Patricia, with real estate, I'm sure it's totally different.
Well, it's different. Real estate is one of the industries you actually do have a lot of females working in, and so it can be a little bit different. I know when I was starting off, when I was in new construction, I dealt with a lot of subcontractors and, you know, superintendents and things like that. And at the time I was mid-20s, I was 25 when I started, so I got referred to as little girl a lot, you know. So you just take it, you move on. But I think in business, you know, when they think people want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So you've just got to overcome those things, you know. So obviously you do what you can to get in front of them, so you then know each other. Hopefully that, you know, you can find that you're in a position where you can make them like you. Can't make everyone like you, but once you've overcome that, then you simply just have to show them that you've got the knowledge, skills, and resources to get the job done for them. Show them that they can trust you, and then you can overcome it. So,
Well said. Narissa?
Definitely have run into that, especially in the fitness, but even going out and about and dealing in certain services or whatever, I have felt sometimes where you may get treated differently because you're a female, but I agree you have to be confident and you've got to stand firm. So that, I know when I was younger, again in my 20s, I probably wouldn't speak up like I do now. And now I definitely will speak up. I would say I'm opinionated, but if I want something done a certain way, that's how I want it done. And in my industry, without a doubt, you have males that sometimes want a male trainer. And working for the military, like I said, a lot of times, I'll never forget when I taught the Marine conditioning classes, it was a Marine officer that came to me, and they did a lot of CrossFit. And so when I was doing the conditioning classes, they weren't expecting, I guess, they were like, again, what is she going to do? And so I made sure to make it extra hard. And they were extra sore, so that's how I deal with that issue.
Here's a question, and please forgive me if this is a stupid question. I know it's very easy to say that you're confident, but going back to what you said earlier, Narissa, with Jennifer Lawrence in the essay, I don't know if you guys read that essay that she wrote with Lena Dunham about men making more money than her in the Hollywood business. How do you overcome, what do you tell yourself, how do I explain this, to not come across assertive? Does that make sense? When you're trying to be confident and you want to say exactly what the male is saying, but they automatically take it as if you're being, you know, a brat. Am I making sense right now?
Yes.
So how do you what do you tell yourself to get through that? How do you?
My biggest thing is I know my worth. I know what I've done. I know how hard I've worked, and I know what results I can get you, and what I can do if I'm working with someone. This is what I can do for you. This is what you can do for me. Like Diana said, it needs to be a win-win. And if you work together, it'll be a win-win. But you do have to know your worth. And I will definitely tell you, when I was younger, I didn't tend to speak up, and that changes with experience. But if you can learn that when you're younger, learn it. It's much better.
I think just adding to that a little bit, obviously, as far as knowing your worth, make yourself worth more. Spend your time studying, learn more, and then when you can take what you know and make them understand that you know that, they then see that you're actually worth that.
I like that. Thank you. Okay, so the next question, please bear with me, you guys.
Is right here. The next question
there you
is
go,
directed for Patricia Zars. And this is a good one. This is one that I would have written this. What are some of the tools or strategies you use to overcome procrastination? Don't procrastinate. Answer.
Ethan, I didn't prepare this at all until this afternoon. No, that's a tough one. I mean, going hand in hand with procrastination is a accountability thing. It's a time management thing, and when you're on your own and you are your own boss, that can be one of the biggest challenges that you go through. Is you're responsible for what you do. So you want to hit the snooze button at extra time? Do you want to get up and get your stuff done? So overcoming procrastination is just, I think it's kind of it's one of those things you just have to develop, just like a habit. You have to break it. You know what I mean? So procrastination's a bad habit. And so if you just enough times remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing, force yourself to get up, force yourself to go on, force yourself to go, one more step, whatever it is you're doing, then you realize that by not procrastinating, you can exponentially get farther and farther, and then it just becomes, it's an opportunity cost. You don't want to lose it, and so you know that by not procrastinating, you're just going to get that much farther in whatever you're doing. So it's conditioning. So.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks.
Okay, I'd like to ask this question to Veronica and Diana. Who are some of your role models? Are there any books that you've read that really motivated you? Are there any speakers or people in your life that really pushed you, that got you to where you are today?
I want to thank my dad, because I feel like he was the biggest role model in my life. My mom and family, but really it was a passion. I knew from when I was a little girl this is what I wanted to do. So there was no magic to it, because I love what I do. But what was the rest of the question?
Almost as if like you were your own motivation. Like, is there any? Your dad was your role model. Was there any books or speakers? Anyone else that?
I like to read a lot. I don't have any specific names, but anything that's positive and motivational, I love to read anything, whether it's on Facebook, on Instagram, or books. I do like to read a lot, and I think and hang around positive people, successful people. So that's my inspiration.
I love that. Thank you, Diana.
Well, obviously my mother was a huge role model for me, and she continues to be on a daily basis. And as for reading material, scriptures, just the best key, the best resource. It's amazing. Sometimes I'll have scripture that pops up on my computer, and it's like it is narrowing in on exactly what's going on in my life. And to me, I believe that it's a beautiful message that I'm not alone.
Awesome, yeah. It's funny in life how some of those things happen. There's a book called When God Winks, and some people call them coincidences, but these things happen in our lives for specific reasons. My question is actually for Narissa, and it is, what motivated you to branch out and start your own business?
My biggest reason for starting my own business, and I would say my why, I always call it my why, is my children. I really, really want to spend more time with them. It started getting to me when my daughter would tell me, Mom, I really want you to come to my school to have lunch with me, or she was having an event, or my son, and I couldn't make it. And I just started seeing more and more that I was, not that working for someone, there's nothing wrong with it, except with me, I wanted to, as we always say, not really have a ceiling, be able to spend time with my children. I may not be yet where I want to be, but I know where I'm trying to focus on and where I want, will be. So, without a doubt.
Okay, this is for all the mothers. Patricia, you're not a mom, correct? Okay. For all the other three, you guys, and I hope this makes sense. Was there ever a time that you experienced, like you felt guilt for working for your dream and working like your passion and not spending as much time with your family? And how did you deal with that? Like, what could you advise all of us here and myself to, I guess, balance that?
You do. You feel that way all the time. I know when they were little, I felt that way, but I've been blessed. I've had the same nanny since they were little, but I still feel guilty because, like Narissa just said, you miss a lot of events and all that, but you know it's all for them, and they understand it now that they're older. And you have to lead by example because as you get older, you want them to have that work ethic, and they always copy what they see. So for me, it's an experience for them. Lead by example, and I know that they know that I love them, and they know that that's part of their success. So sometimes that's a sacrifice you have to pay for success, but they know I love them.
I agree, 100%. I have 3 sons, and since they were little, I had help during the week, or when they went off to school during the week, they were okay. But on the weekends, I still had to work. Weekends and holidays are very, very busy in our industry, and so they'd have to come with me, and I'd feel so guilty because they'd miss a birthday party, or my husband would have to take them, and they wouldn't me, and it was hard. But they have learned that they're older now, and they understand it, and it's the work ethic. It's exactly what you said. They will copy you, and if there's one piece of advice I can give you is to teach your children to work. Tell them that they must start at the bottom, because when they start at the bottom, they can go up. If they start at the top, then they only have to go down, and that's not where they want to be. So.
Oh, that's a good one. Actually, did everybody answer?
Narissa.
Oh, Narissa.
Well, I just answered something sort of like it just a little while ago. They're my why. I do feel guilty sometimes. Sometimes like she was saying, you could get help, you have someone watch them, but other times I want them with me, so there they go with me to the studio while I teach kickboxing, or there they go while I'm personal training, running around, or they're working out, and they know mommy has to work and she works hard, but they're also a part of my life, and they know what that fitness is a part of my life, like the restaurant business, the salon, everything would be a part of my life. It becomes what the family pushes your family.
That's awesome, thank you. I want to mention, guys, we got started a little bit late because of the rain, so hopefully, is it okay if we run just a little bit after? We wanted to try to wrap up by 9, but hopefully that's okay. If you have to leave, we understand totally. This question I found very interesting, and Veronica, you just gave the audience I'm sorry, not Veronica, Ms. Barres, you gave the audience a bit of advice, but I'd like to ask all of you, what was some advice that you got that you felt helped you in your business?
Back to my mom. My mother would would always talk to anybody that wanted to talk to her, and they would come to her and say, "Oh, you're so successful. You've done so well. How did you do it? Tell me, teach me. What am I doing wrong? What do I need to be doing?" And she would tell them, and I'm going to share this with you because it's very, very true. She said, "If I, who am not from this country, was not educated in this country, and barely speak the language, have been able to achieve what I have done, you're going to blow me away because you've had all those opportunities." And that's it. We have these opportunities, and we take them for granted. Let's not take them for granted. Let's use our resources. Let's talk to those people that can help us and give us the guidance and join the organizations. Give back. When you give back, it is amazing what you get in return, because there truly is. It's so much better to give than it is to receive. And when you start doing it, it's an awesome feeling, and hopefully it's contagious.
She's right. I think we're in the land of opportunity, and when you come from another country and are able to succeed the way we have with a lot of hard work, everything is possible. You just gotta want it, and again, do everything with passion and a lot of hard work, and there's no impossible. We're in America. you know, you can do it.
Were you given some advice from somebody?
Yes, from a lot of people. Like I said, I know a lot of friends that own businesses, and I've always asked them questions and how they do it. And you'll get a lot of, why do you want to do it on your own? Why do you want to go off on your own? It's going to be hard work and all that. I said, yeah, but you got to believe in yourself, and that's the key point. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. So believe in yourself.
Patricia, what advice were you given that made you successful?
If I had to pick one thing, it would probably be, once I was told, trust the invisible results. Because there is so much that you do when you're on your path to success or when you're working your day-to-day, you don't see results right away. And so many people stop and they try to switch gears and try to do something else where they just don't see it through far enough. And you gotta trust the process. You gotta believe that the process is gonna work, and trust that everything that you're doing is adding up and that you're going to see results from it. I mean, they say that typically, the results you're seeing today is a direct result of what you were doing 3 to 6 months ago. So just stay on your track, and trust that what you're doing is working, and stick with it, and then you will see results. So
That's great.
For me, obviously, again, my mom, I mean, she's always pushed all her children that they can do whatever they want to do and really accomplish, always pushing for education. And I even remember when I was a little girl, I would dance around in the living room, I think with the broom or the vacuum cleaner or something. And my mom would be like, what are you doing? And she's like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I told her I wanted to be in show business. So I guess that's why I love speaking. I love doing motivational speaking as well. But to me, the biggest thing was always believing in myself, completely believing in myself. And I do surround myself with people who are positive, because even when I'm having a bad day, if I'm being grouchy or whatever, they help lift me. But I also want to hang out with people that they're pushing themselves. So it helps me tremendously.
Awesome. Good advice.
Okay, Miss Patricia. What was the biggest challenge you faced, and how did you overcome it?
for the record, real quick, I'm going to clear something up. I did purposely wear the same thing that you said.
Yeah, you did.
Just to make sure that you knew. That was intentional.
Should have worn my blue dress.
I would think my biggest challenge, I don't know, in the beginning, and I hit on it a little bit before, going out on I say my own, also my husband, but, we were on our own, and that accountability there, that making yourself get up, making yourself take one more step and do that, initially, was one of the hardest things, because, a lot of people think they can go on their own, and then they just, their reason is, well, I want a flexible schedule, and this and that, I can do what I want, but if you're not really, focusing on what your why is, and realizing that you've got to work very, very, very hard to do it, you're not going to get there. I think a lot of people think they're going to have just this super flexible schedule, and they throw some work in there, and it's going to happen. But I probably worked twice as hard as I thought I would work going into business, with my husband and on our own. So the biggest challenge is just you gotta accept and acknowledge too that you're not gonna make everyone happy all the time. So it's a big eye opener, because you get out there and you just want to be doing right in everyone's mind and doing exactly what everyone's wanting. But you can't please everyone all the time. And so you just gotta figure out what's most important and focus on it.
Awesome. We have time for one more question, and this is actually directed to everyone on the panel. What do you say to yourself when fear sets in your job? Diana, do you ever, you're so successful, you probably fear sometimes.
Who told you this? Oh my goodness gracious. You can't be stifled with fear. You have to have a lot of faith. And my mother put all her eggs in one basket when she took that risk to open up that restaurant. And her basket was her faith. I've seen it my whole entire life. You have to have faith. You have to believe. You have to know that it's not all going to be hard. It's not going to be wonderful, wonderful, wonderful every single day. you're going to have your hills and your valleys. We've just gone through 3 years of road construction in front of Los Barrios San Blanco. That has been quite a challenge. And there's still construction, just not right in front of us. But, you know, we didn't say, oh my gosh, is this, you know, going to close our doors? Absolutely not. You know, we've struggled a little bit just to, you know, because they closed the street in front of us for a little bit, but we got it back open right away because we used all our resources. But that's what you have to do. You have to, you can't wallow in it. You have to just get up and go and look up, don't look down, and keep your head high, and just, you cannot let fear take over, because then you will crumble. It just won't work.
I feel like you always have to take chances in life, and if you're scared, you'll never know. So you have to do what you want in life, because you never know if you'll be here tomorrow. Just go for it, and if it goes wrong, there's another day, hopefully, to take another chance on the next project. But don't be scared, go for it, you'll never know. It usually goes fine if you're confident and you believe in yourself, so just believe, and I think it'll be fine.
I think with fear, I guess it would depend on where it's coming from. You know, there's all kinds of fear. It could be fear that you're making a mistake, or fear that you're going too fast, or that things are around you getting, you know, too big too quickly. But so much, basically, I mean, anytime you're overwhelmed, it's probably just because you're underprepared. You know, so the more you can take time to focus and take time to learn, and just broaden your knowledge on what it is you're doing, obstacles will be put in your way, and they aren't as scary, you know, because you've already taken a little bit of time up front, you know, to put that knowledge in your knowledge base, and then something comes up, and you simply just stop for a second. I always say take a deep breath. Don't ever jump into it. Just stop and take a breath and go, okay, I know this. I can get through this, you know. So you'll find out that you're a lot less scared, and things are a lot less scary if you just spend a little bit more time, you know, on your day-to-day life, you know, preparing, you know, not preparing meaning that, you know, you're going to worry about everything that could come up. It's just, you know, filling yourself with the knowledge, and, you know, that will lead to confidence, and that will lead to being less fearful.
Well, for me, there's two things, and when fear sets in or doubt sets in, the first thing I try to think of, whether it's business or personal, is, did I go through this before, and how did I handle it? But the other thing is, I always tell myself when I really start stressing out about something or worrying, and it's like that saying goes, be a warrior, not a warrior with a W-O-O or W-O-R-R-I-E-R, and it's, if I've been through worse things beforehand, I'm going to be able to get through this. So I always look back at something where it was bad, and I focus on how can I be better. If I got through that, I'm going to get through this. And I maybe look back at how I did it. And then, of course, through prayer. I pray, you know, I have my faith. And even with my daughter, whenever she has a nightmare, I've always told her, when she has a nightmare and she wakes up, and she'll tell me, if she either comes to wake me up, or and we'll, you know, I'll put her in bed, or she gets into bed with me, I'll tell her, what do we always do when we have a nightmare and you get scared? And she says, Jesus, please take care of me. So I try to follow the same.
Awesome, cool. Well, to wrap it up, 30 seconds or less, any advice you can give the entrepreneur out here who may be struggling, just some words of wisdom.
Take every bit of experience that you can go through or learn, or just go do it, and just do it. That's just it. Just do it. And yeah, you might stumble, but don't worry. You pick yourself right back up. You dust yourself off, and off you go. And you will be amazed at all that experience. One day you go, oh, I can do that. Oh, I did that. Or let me tell you what not to do. You'll be the one giving out the advice.
Remember that positive attracts positive, so always hang around good people, and just believe in your dreams and make them happen, because you might not get another chance, so just go for it.
Mine would be, and it kind of, you know, correlates with what I do, is treat it like a business. You know, don't get in there and think, you know, that you're going to grow a company or a business, or even just become super successful in what you're doing, unless you treat it like it's a business. It's not a hobby, you know, so it's And don't be afraid to fail. You know, failure is part of learning and it's part of success without doubt. So.
For me, it's definitely believe in yourself and, know your worth. Also, don't listen to the negative naysay. You're always going to get negative naysayers without a doubt. And one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give, that I've also been given, is don't just think of what can I do to be more successful? What can I do to be more successful? But also think about what didn't I do? What haven't I done? So not just thinking of what else you could be doing, but think of what did I miss? And that has helped me a lot.